Hello, I'm Carla and this is Jess. Today's class is a short class where we're working into Bakasana and also Parsva Bakasana. If you're not familiar with these poses, there are some beginner classes you can try where you're working into Bakasana a little bit more. This is more a little bit of an intermediate class, although absolutely suitable for beginners to try also. We will need a bunch of equipment, including a chair, so your usual Iyengar yoga paraphernalia. And as always, listen to your body. If anything feels uncomfortable, not natural, not normal, and if you're in pain, come out of it and try a modification. The legs crossed in Svastikasana. Going to sit up tall, extending up the spine, extending up the sides of the body, opening up across the chest. Bring your hands into the prayer position. Close the eyes. With your eyes closed, you're just coming to the breath. Feel your breath within your body. We begin class with the 3 Oms. Keeping the chest lifted, drop your chin down. Release your hands into your lap. Lift up your head and let your eyes gently open and focus. We're coming to a twist in Svastikasana, so you're turning to the right first, taking the right arm behind you, left hand holds onto the knee, just coming to a gentle twist. As you exhale, you empty out the abdomen and you roll from the left hip to the right hip. You bring the right shoulder back. You can bring that back hand further back in line with the left buttock, or if you have it within your capacity, you can bring this right hand into the left waist also. Coming back to center, lifting up on an exhalation, turning to the left. As you turn to the left, you use this right hand to pull the left side through. You see, can you get that left hand to wrap around, releasing when you come back to center and changing the cross of the legs. So just warming up the spine in these gentle twists. Once you're seated, fix your buttock bones in position, extend the sides of the body and the spine, and as you exhale, turning to the right. You can grab hold of the left waist again with the left inner thigh. This right hand, the left hand you can turn so that the back of the left hand is against the right thigh. This gives a little bit more openness to the armpit chest region. Be there for a breath or two. Each exhalation, you're twisting a little bit more, and then release back to center. Take a breath or two here where you just reestablish the seat, the extension of your spine, and now exhale, twisting to the left. As you twist to the left, the right arm is going to help to pull you around. Turn the back of the right hand. Breathe. Each exhalation, you're deepening the twist, you're turning deeply into the pose. As you inhale, you're keeping that extension of the spine. And then releasing back to center. Extend the legs in Dandasana. So we're doing Parsva Dandasana. Parsva means going to the side. So Parsva Dandasana is twisting basically. You can do it just with the hands at your sides. If you have neck injuries or shoulder injuries or blood pressure issues, don't take the arms up. But you can also begin with the arms up to get that full extension. And as you exhale, you turn and you bring the arms down. Keep the buttock bones even on the support, so keep the feet together, legs strong, and keep turning using the breath. Keep lifting the spine using the breath. You can do that same turning of the back of the hand against the thigh to get some openness in that left side of the chest. When you've been there for a few breaths, you don't have to lift the arms to come out. You can simply come out of it into a straight up Dandasana. Again, Urdhva Hasta Dandasana, and exhale, turning into full Parsva Dandasana. When you're ready to turn the back of the hand, you do. So one thing that I did forget to mention is that you really shouldn't be doing twists when you're menstruating. So this class wouldn't be suitable for you because there are a lot of twists in this class. Also not suitable for pregnant people. Come back to center. From this Dandasana position, we're coming to sit in a chair. So you can use any chair. We're just going to sit sideways on the chair. So Bakasana is a seated twist, and we're going to sit with facing the side of the chair so that the right side of your body is on the backrest. Now, when you twist, you're going to twist so that you're using the arms of the backrest to help twist the spine. You're trying to keep your legs together. The knees shouldn't come apart. So pay attention to what the buttock bones are doing. And where you've got the stability of the hips, you're turning the chest, the shoulder girdle against that. So it's almost like a giant pepper mill. And release. Now, sitting straight up in the chair like normal, I'm going to increase the depth of this twist. So you're still turning to the right. Now you're going to hook your left elbow onto your right knee. So you're coming down also. You can bring the hands into this prayer position. Here, you're trying to lift the breastbone to meet the hands. You're trying to dive that left arm down. So this is preparation for Bakssana. Bakssana is quite a bound, intense twist. Keep breathing when you do your twists, and then release and come up. Up you get. So to do the other side, you're going to sit with your left side against the backrest. Using the backrest, come to that twist. You want to pull with the right hand, push away with the left hand. So you're getting the whole chest to turn against the stability of the legs. So try not to let the knees come apart so much. Feel what your buttock bones are doing so that you get that sense that the pelvic girdle is stable. And then you turn the shoulder girdle against the pelvic girdle. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. Don't forget to breathe. Come out of it. Turn to sit normally in your chair. And now hooking the right elbow over the left knee. Once more, bring the knees and the feet together. Yes. Try not to let this knee shoot back. You're trying to get as much of that left knee onto that right upper arm. When you've been there for a few breaths, you can release and come out of it and come to standing in Tadasana. We're setting the chair aside. Now we're going to come to Utkatasana. Utkatasana is an intense pose. You want to get a nice openness in the armpits, and you're working at sitting on an imaginary chair. So the feet are together, you're in Tadasana, lift your arms, lift up your chest. Keep that abdominal control. As you exhale, you want to sit and you want to glide the buttocks down, but you want to lift the shins up. Keep the knees together, keep breathing, keep the gaze soft, the chest lifted. As you lift the chest, you can lift your, and then inhale, come up, release your arms. Have a rest. Right. Second Utkatasana. Stretch the arms overhead. Exhale. The groins move back. You sit down. As you sit down, you keep the firm lift of the shins. You keep the back waist long. You keep the arms lifting up. You lift your gaze so that you can lift your chest too. When you've been there for a few breaths, imagine that somebody's pulling up your arms, pushing to your heels, straighten the knees, and release. So Parsva Utkatasana would be a twist in Utkatasana. So we're going to do the same kind of twist you did in the chair. It's easier to have the hands in the prayer position. Inhale, and as you exhale, bend and twist to the right. Keep the knees together as much as possible. You want to get the upper arm and that knee contact, and you want to lift the chest to meet the palms. And then release whenever you need to. Come to Tadasana, have a rest. When you've had a rest, we're going to the other side. So off you go. And as you twist, you want to hook as much of the upper arm onto that outer knee as possible. You're using the leverage between that upper arm and the knee to twist. Don't drop your head, lift your chest, breathe, keep moving the chest so that the breastbone meets the thumb, and then exhale, release, come to standing. Have your hands at your sides, relax your shoulders, have a breath here. So Utkatasana can be quite a challenge. So you're going to just take your feet hip distance apart and come to a Uttanasana release. Resting here. We're coming to Malasana squat. In the Malasana squat, you're trying to keep your heels down. You're trying to keep your feet together. Inhale, and as you exhale, bend the knees, sit the buttocks down, get your body in between the two thighs. Not everybody can keep their feet together. Not everybody can keep their heels down. So you do what you can. You want to work into the Malasana squat because it's a wonderful way of preparing for Bakasana. If your heels don't come down, take some height for the heels. If your feet don't stay together, work with the feet apart and work from there. From Malasana, and release up. You're going to work into Bakasana. So it is safer to have a bolster, just in case, especially if you're a beginner, so you don't crash. And now we're coming back to the Malasana squat. So Bakasana is often done from the Bakasana head balance. For beginners, working from the Malasana squat works just as well. You're going to glide your chest forward, bringing your weight onto the upper arm. Once your shin and your knee up is on the upper arm, you're trying to balance. You keep the buttocks low, you keep the chest lifted. When you're ready to come down, you come down. Know that in classic Bakasana, you're trying to get the knee as high up onto the upper arm as possible. Not very easy for everybody. Also, the weight bearing on the hands, if it challenges you, maybe do a few warm-ups for your wrists, but keep practicing Bakasana. So one more time. Slide your breastbone forward. If you drop your chest, you're going to dive bomb down into the bolster. You are trying to get the buttocks to descend a little bit more, the chest to lift more. And then when you've been there, you release and you come out of it. In classic Bakasana, the knee is right on the armpit and the arms eventually straighten. We are working into Parsva Bakasana now. So Parsva Bakasana is pretty much doing the twist that you did a moment ago in Utkatasana, yeah? So you're going to turn to face forward so that the bolster is to the side. And then you're going to come from here to Utkatasana twist. So exhale, sit, come to that Utkatasana twist, fix the arm, fix the leg. Then bringing your hands onto the floor, you're going to see, can you lean onto that upper arm with the knee and lift the feet? Beautiful, Jess. Don't hold it for too long. Hold it as long as you're able to release and come down. Very nicely done. So the bolster's there, it's safer. It does give you a little bit of a feeling of comfort if you want to try out these poses. And if it's not within your practice to even attempt this Parsva Bakasana, then just keep working on your Bakasana practice. And as you develop strength in Bakasana, Parsva Bakasana will hopefully come. When you've rested, Utkatasana twist to the other side. Fix that upper arm and knee in. Squat down, get the hands into the floor. Your knees are kneeling on the hand. The buttocks can kneel on the other hand, especially in the beginning. Once you start to develop more strength, you'll lift the buttocks off the opposite hand too. When you've been there for a few breaths, release and come out of it and stand in Tadasana for a few breaths. Good job. Parsva Bakasana. So Parsva Bakasana, if you do, it's a very similar twist action actually to Jatara Parivartanasana. So we're going to do Jatara Parivartanasana now. Just lie down and have your arms out. You want enough space so that your arms are out at your sides. You're going to bend your knees into your chest and now take both knees over. So kind of feel how this from this Jatara Parivartanasana position, if you bring your arm onto your knee, you kind of are starting to get that feeling of maybe what Parsva Bakasana will be. So you can still do the twist, but you'll just have to do it lying down. Back to center. And dropping the knees off to the other side. Just giving you a nice gentle twist here, nice releasing twist. Again, getting that feeling of what it would be like or what it was like in Parsva Bakasana if you managed it. And when you're ready, you're going to come up. So we are working into Halasana. Halasana is the plow position. And Halasana is the position that you go into when you're first starting to go into Salamba Sarvangasana. In shoulder balance, in an Iyengar class, we always use support. And the supports I'm using here are 4 shoulder balance foams. They're just regular A4 size chipboard foam that has been covered. And what that does is it creates a platform. So when you drop your chin down, that one that sticks out, C7, so that that C7 doesn't get compromised with working flat all the time. We're working into a few little compressing poses. So if you do struggle with Halasana, do only the ones that you can and you feel comfortable with. Placing a blanket on top of the support to keep the foams together, another blanket to create some softness for your head. When you're going into shoulder balance or Halasana, you generally would tie your arms together. You would measure your strap from outer shoulder to outer shoulder. And when you're going into these positions, the strap goes behind your back. So if you kick your feet over your head, rolling onto the shoulder and the neck, Halasana is not the position you would be doing if you have any neck or shoulder injuries. Bringing the hands together, interlace the fingers, and just stretch the arms out so you're rolling onto that outer upper arm and getting onto the top shoulder. So here, if I put a strap around Jess's arms, when she takes her hands to support, it's a lot, there's a lot more structure in Halasana. The feet are to the floor, thighs are lifted, you're pushing the feet into the floor, lifting the thighs. If you cannot get your feet to the floor, work with the stool or take your feet towards the wall. So from Halasana, when you keep this extension up here in the sides of the body, the thighs lifted, bend your knees to your ears. So Karna is an ear, Pida is pressure. Karna Pidasana is putting pressure on the ears with the knees. Karna Pidasana. Classically, you turn the toes under. If you're on a height, this is quite challenging, so you can keep your feet as they were. Hey? And then straighten the legs and come back to Halasana. So when you look at Halasana, you can walk the feet to the side for Parsva Halasana. I find it easier to do without the strap. So we'll just remove the strap, holding onto your back. You're going to now keep both thighs strong, keep the hips lifted, walk your feet over to the one side. And you've got a visual of your legs. So check out your legs, see which one drops, which one doesn't. Can you keep the legs level? Then coming back to center. And we're going to do Parsva Halasana to the other side. When you go to Parsva Halasana, keep lifting both buttock bones. You've got a visual of your thighs, so see what you're doing with the thighs and come back to center. Getting the elbows in again, getting onto the top shoulder. We're going to come now to Parsva Karnapidasana. So Karnapidasana we did a moment ago. Parsva is to the side. Take your feet to Parsva Halasana first. Once your feet are well over, you're going to bend your knees and the opposite knee has to come to the ear. Parsva Karnapidasana. Straighten the legs. Move back to Parsva Halasana. From Parsva Halasana, walk your feet over again. When you've cleared, you're going to bend your knees so that the opposite knee is near the opposite ear. Straightening up, walk back to center. They're not comfortable poses to hold for very long. Bending your knees again to Karnapidasana. In the classic Karnapidasana now, take your hands and wrap over the front of the back of the knee. Karnapidasana is a quietening pose. It's a very still, meditative, releasing pose. It's actually a beautiful pose to do. If you're not familiar with doing inversions, take your hands back to your back to Halasana, holding onto your back. So in the classic shoulder balance, you would have a strap holding the elbows together. Halasana is a wonderful position to learn to go into your shoulder balance. So here you can go take one leg off the floor, feel what that feels like. Take a second leg and see, can you go up into shoulder balance? It is a challenge without support of the strap. Back of the neck stays long. So Salamba Sarvangasana is done with the support of the arms on the back. This is shoulder balance. Back of the neck is long, throat is soft. Don't do inversions when you have high blood pressure, when you're menstruating, when you have any neck, shoulder injuries. And also practice them with a teacher or somebody who knows what they're doing first. Shoulder balance is a wonderful inversion. It's one of the first inversions you learn, and it's quite a natural progression from Halasana. From here, you're going to release your feet down. So we did one leg at a time coming down, but you can also go two legs if it's within your practice to do so. And try when you're doing one legs to come up one leg one time and another leg a different time. So releasing down, slide off your supports so that your shoulders release on the floor, your head is on the mat, your legs can be in whatever position is comfortable that you have space for. Let the throat be soft, the back of the neck is long here. And you're just quietly releasing. Okay. We're going to now come to Setu Bandha. So Setu Bandha we're using as a release after all the twists and the Bakasanas. In classic Setu Bandha, you would use a brick for underneath the tailbone. Classic Setu Bandha on the brick can be quite painful, and especially because you want it as a restorative. If you have shoulder balance foams, use those. Stacking 4 up gives you a much nicer, softer base in Setu Bandha versus being on the brick. And especially if you're going to be stretching your legs and staying there for a while as a restorative, right? But we'll show with the brick first because that's classically what most people have. You're lying on your back first, your knees are bent. Back of the neck is long. Spine is extended. Now when you lift up, you take the brick on the tailbone. If you know you have back issues and you cannot extend your legs easily, you'll have a bolster or some support in place already so that when you extend your legs are elevated. It's not so sharp along on the back, and you can use this as a moment to extend the abdomen, release the abdomen after the twists, release the sides of the body, release the hips after the Bakasanas. Bending your knees. To come up out of it, you have to go slowly. So you just lift your brick. We haven't been here long, so we're just going to whip it out and extend the spine completely to the floor. But if you're there on the brick and you're going to stay on the brick, then stay on the brick. If you have shoulder balance foams, then it's a little bit trickier to get into. You're going to come up and you're going to actually sit on the shoulder balance foams. And then you need to so sitting on the shoulder balance foams, you need to kind of balance out your legs. Sometimes it's a little bit high. You might wind yourself going down, but once you've settled yourself down, move a little bit closer to the wall, I think. So the back waist is not on the foams. It's the tailbone. And then if it's within your practice to extend the legs, if you're able to extend the legs, you extend the legs. The beauty of being on shoulder balance foams is if it catches your back, then you bend your knees, and just releasing one foam is a different pose suddenly. And because this is a restorative, do take only however much height is suitable for you and feels like it's releasing all those parts of the body that we worked and challenged a moment ago. Whereas the brick from the one height to the other, it's quite a drop. So 3 shoulder balance firms is really nice. You could also, I guess, do this with your hips elevated on a bolster. Be here for a few moments. Back of the neck is long. Your back catching? Okay, so you can be here for a bit. Back of the neck is long, throat is soft, shoulders are absolutely on the floor. You can even close your eyes. Find a smoothness to your breath. So after this pose, we're just coming to Shavasana. So be in this restorative Setubandha for as long as you feel, works for you and has kind of stretched out any little kinks from the Bakasanas and the twists. Bending your knees. Lift up your butt, remove one foam at a time, or you can just move your block down one side at a time. And then once you are lying flat, you can just hug your knees into your chest, cross your ankles, hold onto your feet, and just rock from side to side. Releasing the back onto the floor. Be preparing for Shavasana. So take whatever support you need. A blanket for under the head is really nice as long as it supports your head and your neck. And it needs to feel that there's no sort of bent creases that are digging into the back of your head. Taking a bolster underneath the knees. Take the bolster centered on your knee so that some of your thigh is on, some of your calf is on, but your heels are grounded. There's a release in the front thigh, so roll from the inner thigh out. There's a release of the knees. Once you're settled down, exhale, close the eyes. The palms of the hands face up to the ceiling and the fingers curl softly so that there's softness there. Back of the neck is long, and from the hairline, the skin of the face releases down to the eyebrows, down to the nose, down to the jaw, all the way down to the toes. Each time you exhale, just surrender completely to your mat. The inhalations hold you in this quiet Shavasana state. But each exhalation, just see, can you just let go of any thoughts, any distractions, any tension? So Shavasana is a conscious relaxation. It is a time to just feel what your body's feeling, be with your body, be with your breath for a few moments after your practice. And stay in Shavasana for as long as you need, as long as you have time for. You need to come out of Shavasana, you come out slowly, almost reluctantly. So first, you're just going to let that breath move in and out. That inhalation becoming a little bit deeper. Each inhalation slowly bringing you back to your body. Bring your hands anywhere to rest on your body where it's comfortable. And for a moment, with the hands on the abdomen, just connect with your breath. Stretch your arms over your head. Give your body a long, deep stretch. You can yawn or sigh the breath out. Then bending your knees, rolling onto your right-hand side. You want to stay in that fetal position for a few moments, or you're letting the left side of the body just hold you in this quiet Shavasana state. Just connecting with this quiet, peaceful, tranquil state that you can hopefully tap into throughout your day. You're going to come up slowly, bending, putting your left hand into the floor, lift up. Once you're back upright in a seated position, extend the spine, open your chest, and again, bring the hands into the prayer position. Let that inhalation draw you back to the present. With each exhalation, just feel that sense of calm and peace. On the next breath in, let the eyes gently flutter open and focus. Namaste. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Jess. See you next time.